How's it going, everybody? So someone asked a question as to child support and voluntarism. How does that work, if at all? Short of it is that there is no such thing as a mandatory automatic child support in voluntarism without a positive agreement. And the point there is, again, you can't just be automatically assumed to have given consent to give a certain amount of money or type of support to somebody without having first agreed to that, especially with something so long-term as a child. And that's what incentivizes things like, of course, the marriage contract or other types of agreements that deal with sexuality and people. And it might sound a little awkward at first, but it's really no different than any other type of justice system or agreement system where someone is trying to figure out, okay, how do we make it so that people are held to, their voluntarily made agreements as far as taking care of kids go, and that's really the only way to do it. And it's just the balancing of those interests. And there's another flip side to that as far as women are concerned. What are women to do, if they are impregnated? Maybe there's something that's voluntary or involuntary. Well, when it comes to liberty and voluntarism, there's a whole lot of other subjects to think about here when it comes to a woman's right to her own body. And without getting too far into the details, I subscribe to a form of evictionism, where a woman has, of course, the right and ability to evict another person living off of her body, and that includes a child. So a woman has the ability to say, okay, no, I'm not bringing this child to term. But however, it should be noted that that is not necessarily the end-all be-all as far as growth, as far as the growth of ethical systems is concerned. As far as helping people avoid pregnancy to begin with, as far as helping people to have proper family planning by not having semen, fertilize an egg, there's a lot of work that should be done there. And balancing those two interests is very important. Balancing the right of people to have full control over their own bodies, and of course the right to not have an automatic mandatory form of a governance without actually consenting to something is very important. So balancing those two things out takes a lot of back and forth. But there is a very clear line, and that clear line is that you can't have an automatic system of, okay, this is the child support that you owe just because there was a virtue of a child, and there might be many ways about which it's agreed to. It could just be a marriage contract, it could be through another type of social service agreement or union, or it could be something specifically agreed to, whatever it is. We live in a day and age now more than ever where that is an issue for people, right? People who do donation of sperm or eggs, and the agreements they get into for saying, well, okay, the donor is not responsible for this child because they're intentionally trying to get a donation of sperm or an egg, or people who, hold the child for somebody else, who act as a surrogate. We're in a pretty crazy time as far as technology goes, and the key there is balancing the individual rights to autonomy, while also making sure that everybody is has agreed upon what it is they're doing, and minimizing the initiation of violence. And minimizing the initiation of violence includes things toward those who are unborn, but it has its limitations, largely due to where a person could potentially be brought to term, but there may not necessarily be a duty there to take care of children. A lot of it deals with economic, I guess you could say, blackballing or social norms. The key with voluntarism is helping to maximize that peace by encouraging shared knowledge, by encouraging systems where people have to actually participate through consent. And so that's the only way to balance those things within true libertarianism, true voluntarism, as far as men and women and bring a child to term with those rights and responsibilities. All right, thanks so much, everyone. Take care.